All right. Maybe I'm streaming. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's have a look. Yeah, it looks like I'm up on Twitch. Looks like I'm... I might be up on Mixer. Yeah, it looks like I'm up on Mixer. And YouTube. Okay, so anybody who's in the chat, let me know if you can hear me and all that stuff. Let's see. Hopefully, I'll start seeing some chat messages pretty soon. 6.0. Oh, hey. Yeah, it looks like Emiliano Luna's here on YouTube. The Decimator is here on Mixer. Oh, I'm kind of worried. But no, I'm sure everything's fine. I'm sure I'm not going to get decimated here. There's only going to be 2 of us, so, you know, a decimation would only remove, what, like a fifth of one of our bodies? I'm sure we can live through that, like an arm or something like that. Hi. So we're going to be talking about patch 6.0, which just dropped a couple of hours ago. There's a bunch of patch notes, so Joe and I are going to be going through those. Brant is out today, but we got Joe Swarner, who's going to be coming in pretty soon. He is our customer advocate. A lot of you know him as Undead Jawa in our Discord. So he's going to be here helping us. He's going to be playing the game while I run through a zillion patch notes. Tio Cow says they want a new map. Yeah, so we have said that we're working on that. We're still, you know, we're not nearly ready to show anything in that regard. But sometime next year, you're going to have a new map from us. We've already announced that. It's as good as a promise. And yeah, Hola Victor. Hey there, Tom. And Preston Garvey. Do you have a mission for us? Funky Lemonade is here. We had some Funky Lemons, but we decided to make Funky Lemonade. And Corn Dog. So many people. So you guys hear me okay? The sound coming through all right? Oh, actually, I should probably... Let's get into the game just to, you know, make sure we can hear the audio. Oh, hey, Joe's here. Go ahead and close the door behind you. And, yeah, we are live on the pre-stream, so feel free to come and have a seat. And we will try to adjust your mic so it's in the exact perfect place.
And I will try to speak louder this time so that you don't have to adjust it as much.
So it's already on camera. So I moved the camera so that we each got our own little screen. So it's right there if you want to.
Okay.
If you ever want to just stare straight in the camera and creep people out.
Like this.
Yeah, exactly. I stole this controller, but you can have it back. I couldn't adjust it for your tallness. Do you want to get as close as you're going to get, or?
Well, I guess that depends. I'm going to be.
I'm going to slide this over so you can see where you are on the camera. So I've got 2 screens that are pointing in different directions.
Okay.
So it's hard for Joe to see exactly where he is. The most important thing is for it to be pointed directly at you.
Okay.
So whether it's off screen, I mean mine is also on screen. You can see it. It's right here.
Yeah. Okay.
So I feel like I should angle this down. I angled it a little high because I was like, man, Joe's so much taller than I am. But I think I might have overdone it. So
I'm not worried.
So if you want to, yeah, if you ever want to be bigger on the screen, you just move closer to the camera and you're great.
Move closer to the camera.
All right, so folks, Joe's going to say some things. You guys let us know if you can hear him okay.
Okay, some things. Hello. Is everybody and everyone hearing me? Can everybody see me?
Oh, the Decimator says, I see a bug already. What? Oh, right. We're standing inside. We just spawned inside
I don't know
a
what
facility.
you're talking about. There's no bug there. It's perfect. Look at all of the range of motion we've got going on.
All right. Sailor Wolf and Blaze Experience both report that they are reading you loud and clear.
All right.
Everybody, Harvey Spider Web can hear you. So can Funky Lemonade. So thanks for the input, guys. We gotta move my windows around here a little bit so I can see everything better. So this is just a pre-stream. We haven't started properly yet. We got 10 minutes or so until we actually start the real thing. Yeah, I'm gonna make some more room so I can read you guys' chat a little better.
So, let's see, we got holiday content. Okay. Oh, that's pretty cheap.
Oh yeah, we got enough for it. Cool. So once we get the stream started properly, we're gonna start showing off some content. It's too bad that it's nighttime right now in my world. So maybe we should save the prettiest things for after the sun comes up.
Yeah, we should probably wait on that then.
Yeah, so we'll hold off on our Christmas present to the fans until we actually have the sun and we can see clearly what's going on. My hair is giving me problems today. I think I might need to, like, I don't know, do something crazy with it. Here we go. There, kind of going for the eraser head look. There. That's what the people come for, right there.
Holy cow! Do we have a suppressor? There's an improvised one.
You might be able to I've got some installed on. Somebody's got a suppressor
Brakes,
installed.
chokes.
It could be on somebody's inventory.
Brake. There's a suppressor. It's improvised. Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
I think I've got at least one handmade suppressor, but I think it's on a person. So
Is this the? Oh, it's just an M203. All right.
yeah. Jackie Vincent, we don't have any SWAT police survivors. We didn't add any new survivor models to the mix with this patch, but we have heard you guys loud and clear, and we're thinking about what we can do there. Sidearm holsters would be interesting. I think not every outfit looks like it needs one, though. And some characters, if you're not carrying a pistol, just empty holsters on everybody might look kind of strange. I do.
Al is named Brian in your game.
Got my own shit that needs handling.
Is this the country church? Is that what this is?
Feels like
Oh no, this is that. Oh god.
Yeah, so Gooniverse is greeting people from all from all the different places. So Gooniverse is on Twitch, I believe. He's saying hello, people from Mixer and YouTube, since we can see all chats right now. Got all the chats scrolling behind your head. We don't usually keep that up just because it's really busy on the screen, but yeah, it's kind of fun to see that we got people coming from so many different places. Brad's Burgers asks, any new weapons? No, there aren't any new weapons. There are balance changes to existing weapons. We basically made it so that the Clio weapons are much more feasible to use during the game. We'll talk about the details there in a little bit. Yeah, in a little bit. But so it's effectively like you got some new weapons because instead of just leaving the Clio weapons over in Daybreak, you actually we're trying to motivate you to actually bring them in and use them in the game.
Should we leave this up to a vote of the people?
Hey. So should he go backpacking or marathon with his character? It's his last skill he needs to specialize. So yeah, let's hear if you guys are fans of backpacking or marathon. You got one vote for marathon, but it's only just started. Can't just take early polls to.
So we got.
Okay, so far everybody said marathon. We got 4 marathons. Oh, 1 backpacking. Okay, so it's
makes me wonder
4
if
to
Sailor
2,
Wolf just doesn't want us to be successful.
5 to 2, 5 to 3, 5 to 4. Holy crap! It's catching up. Backpacking catching up.
So, are these separate streams or is that separate chats?
They're all. Backpacking just overtook. It's now 6 to 5. Backpacking.
Yeah. Hey, Goonie, how's it going?
Yeah, you should be able to see all the same stuff I'm seeing over there.
Okay.
So I think backpacking just took it over. Like we had a bunch of marathon early on, but I think backpacking just won.
Really? I don't. Why backpacking?
Oh, because you can carry more stuff. Like
yeah, I suppose.
Okay, there's a couple people trying to make marathon make a comeback. I don't. Oh wait, I think they're tied up again. Garlic burp.
Thanks, garlic burp.
Garlic burp. So yes, guys, this is Jawa from Discord. So I'm Undead Jeffrey there. He's Undead Jawa. So if you guys want to chat with us on Discord later on, go ahead and find us. But for right now, you can chat with us here. We got 6 more minutes until the stream starts properly, and I'm already getting tongue-tied. So this is going to be one of the best performances we've ever put on. I've stopped counting. It looks like it just keeps going back and forth. I think it might be your choice. It's like an even toss-up.
Well, marathon's my favorite, but I'm honestly trying to gauge like what everybody in the community seems to think. That would be actually quite an interesting poll.
Now, a lot of people who said backpack, and I believe they were saying like backpack.
Dora the Explorer or something. Yeah. Well, I'm the map, so.
Yum 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 yum. Delicioso.
We've had small children. Nothing to see here.
I think we tried our kids on Dora the Explorer, and it didn't quite take, which is good. But we did have a bunch of we did have some repetitive things they watched. They watched Bo on the Go for a little while, which is, I think it actually plays in one of the 9 Rings of Hell. It's mostly repeated content. Again, like the same songs and chants and stuff like that again and again and again. And man, I shouldn't bag on other people's stuff. But man, that made me want to die. My son's just discovered another one too on I think he's watching it on YouTube. It's a similar sort of like very repetitive thing. You know, like I think kids feel comforted when a show has a lot of repetitive stuff because they feel like, oh, I know this, and it makes them feel good. Later on, when you get to be an adult, that is a little bit less effective. Not right. It still kind of works, but I know my son is super into Voltron, and his favorite thing, like he doesn't let me skip the intro on Netflix.
Oh, man.
He wants to watch it because he's got things that he says because each of the characters silently like shifts their lion into high gear, but they always look like they're doing something. They look like they're making a noise. And so he's got noises that he makes with each of them. Like Lance goes, woo! And,
and he goes along with it.
Yeah, and I think Shiro goes, yes! He just has this whole ritual.
Nice. No, my children are probably a little bit older than... And so Dora wasn't quite as annoying when they were watching it, so... Mm-hmm. I don't know. I could probably still walk in and go, on the map, and they would just follow up with it.
Yeah, my kids range from 13 down to 4, so we're seeing the full range of...
That is a full range.
Modern kid culture. Oh, so what is it? Is it Jock of All Trades or Joe? So yeah, Jock of All Trades asks if we've been into the difficulty Discord discussion. So there's a discussion on Discord about difficulty. There's a discussion on Reddit going on about difficulty. I haven't been following that closely. I'm not on the team that's addressing difficulty, but I know that there's actually there's a big discussion of it on our internal Slack today. But I know that Wonder, our communications director, has been analyzing everything people have been saying and gathering it, and then the team has been pouring through it and really paying attention to the feedback that we're getting.
Yeah, no, and a lot of I don't know if I've said this on Discord or not, but I probably should have. A lot of the feedback that was in there is being taken into account for the design. I do meet with Devin once in a while, and I get to ask him a few questions, and we went over some of the suggestions that were in there. So thanks to everybody who posted that stuff. It's definitely been useful, both from Reddit and from Discord. So.
And you know what? X Blue asks if we can add a fifth skill that just that makes someone an anime devotee. I think that would be wonderful. And that has now been lodged in my brain. I'm sure the next time I sit down in front of it, I'll want to add something like that. I don't think we'll do a skill book for it though, because I really can't think of the practical application of that. It'll probably be like the other trivia skills. They're asking about new hoodies. We haven't added any new character models, so I know there's a lot of folks who are asking for a lot of specific things for the character models. That's not coming with this update. Maybe sometime in the future. We're still thinking about what our options are. Oh, it looks like Undead Mark might have joined us. Oh, and note that Megan in the chat has been posting links to the Discord. If you guys want to head over there sometime, like after the stream's over, if you're not on our Discord channel, go check it out because. There's a lot of good stuff there. You can, interact with a lot of our most knowledgeable fans are there, and we pop in there sometimes. I mean, Jawa spends a lot of time over there.
Yep.
And so you can get access to, information from us, give us your feedback. It's a really great place, so go check it out. Deadpool Sama asks, what about the new map? That is still slated for next year sometime. That's not this update. We weren't going to be able to whip up a map in just a couple of months from the announcement, but we are working on it, and it is 1 o'clock. So we're going to go dark for just a second, and then we're going to come back with the proper stream.
We're going to come back right in the middle of a zombie siege. doesn't look like it's going to be much of a siege.
Hello there, happy holidays, and welcome to the State of Decay 2 stream. I'm your host, Jeffrey Card, and over here, we've got Joe Swarner.
Hello.
He is our one of our customer advocates. I guess you are our customer advocate, aren't you?
Yeah, the only one left.
So let's just jump right into the game. We have got a new update to State of Decay 2. It is update 6.0. And Joe is going to be, right now he's in the middle of a zombie siege, and so we'll just chat for a little bit. But he's going to walk us through, some of the, show off some of the things that have changed in the game. I'll be going through all of the patch notes. And so if you guys have any questions about the patch, about, new features in the game, please ask them in the chat. We're up right now on Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube. So everybody ask your questions, and we got Megan monitoring the chat, and hopefully she'll be able to funnel all of your any questions that we miss straight to us. But so Joe, what is the situation on the ground right now in our community?
So the situation on the ground right now in our community is you got 6.0 coming up. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to go with that one.
Yeah. So are you done with the siege?
Yeah.
Okay. Well then let me grab my notes here. And actually, before we get into that, while you're sort of prepping to go, I should say last week we were talking about the Undead Trials. It was a big community event that was put on by several of our favorite people, and it was actually it's complete. It was actually won by our guest from last week. Fall Down Go Boom was the big winner. Second place was ML Maris, and third place was the Blaze Experience. So congratulations to all of you guys for some of the amazing stuff that you pulled off in order to get that far in the Undead Trials, and a special congrats to Fall Down Go Boom. So that's not going to be the last community event that goes on here. Derek Blaze Experience is he and some other folks are already working on plans for another event in January. So it hasn't been fully worked out and announced yet, but they are looking for volunteers, people who want to get involved. So go to our Discord, look for Blaze Experience, Blaise Experience, or you can track him down on Twitter. Get in contact with that guy, and if you're interested in getting involved on the ground floor with one of these community events, they're really cool, and I'm sure he can hook you up. But so I wanted to make sure we called that out. And what else? So you're a customer advocate. We've talked to you about this before.
Right.
But part of your job is being on our Discord answering people's questions, and part of your job is answering questions from our new portal, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that again in January. But basically, like we've got a new customer service portal on at support.stateofdecay.com. And that allows you to read some of our more frequently asked questions, try to get some help there, and if you don't find an answer there, go ahead and toss it over to me through submitting a ticket. So
this is the guy that your tickets will go to.
Yeah.
If you said it's a real live human being, no robots over here. So
at least not today.
Yeah. So we will go into more detail about how that works, how Joe's job works day to day, and how the stuff that he gets to do with this new feedback portal, with Discord, with all the other things. We'll get into more detail about that in a future show. But I really wanted you to say support.stateofdecay.com. Is that right?
Support.stateofdecay.com. Yes.
So especially since we just dropped a patch, and it's always a chaotic time when you just drop a patch. If you guys have any trouble with this, please report them to Joe at support.stateofdecay.com.
Yeah, and I will do my dead level best to make sure that we get a bug in on it and possibly a workaround. That's kind of what I do. I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to play the game as they intend to, even though sometimes bugs find their way out into the wild that we just couldn't find here.
So other things that are going to go on this show. So first off, this is basically our holiday show. This is our last show of the year. Next week, of course, is going to be like the day after Christmas. Nobody wants to, come into work on that day. So, and I feel bad for anyone who has to, because I'm going to be at home cleaning up after my children as they're running around using their new presents. But yeah, this is sort of our Christmas type, holiday type show. And so you see, we've got our beautiful ugly sweater here. So my boss, Richard Fogey, collects geeky, ugly Christmas sweaters. And so he's loaned me this one today. So this one says, I find your lack of cheer disturbing. And you can see here it's got Darth Vader here finding you disturbing. So you kind of look at his face there, how disturbing he finds you. So thanks to Foggy for that. So we're trying to, celebrate with as much cheer as we possibly can here. And so the next show we do is actually going to be the 8th of January. So that's a couple weeks from now. And you might say, the 8th, isn't that a Tuesday? That is true. We're going to start doing the show on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock instead of Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. So it's been Wednesdays at 1 o'clock Pacific time. So we're moving it later by an hour and earlier by a day. So Tuesdays at 2, that's the new time. So if you've been coming, watching this every week, please update your calendars. And in the new year, we're going to have a whole new thing going on. So I think that's all of the housekeeping and the business and stuff like that.
I think so.
We could probably get into some patch notes. So we wanted to save the big number one thing on the patch notes list. We want to save until daylight so that we can really appreciate it. So I'm just going to move right along with sort of.
We could show this like right now. So,
that's true. You're right here. Yeah, go ahead and grab that.
So there are a couple of different ways now that you can access items. So you can view your vehicle upgrades, but now, you see we don't really have any upgrades available. But you can now also get vehicle supplies directly from here. So like if you have a gas can in your supply locker, you can just put that baby right in the back of your trunk, and all sorts of the different repair kits. So we're missing a couple of doors and we're down some gas. So before we go out, I'm going to go ahead and take care of that.
So you can do that if you find the right spot to interact with the slot right there on the ground. You can do it there. You can also open your base screen and do it from there.
Okay, let me show that really quick.
Yeah, so even if you're even if you're away from home, you can still load up your cars. You can't tell, just like, I think we had a patch note in 5.0 that meant you couldn't teleport rucksacks to your back out in the field anymore by using the base screen. But and so in this case, it's not teleporting to your back; it's teleporting to the back of your car, which is parked in the parking spot. So we can totally let you teleport things to your car. So yeah, so that's one of our big new features. We went over a couple of different ways to handle it. This was the one that seemed like it made the most sense.
I could have sworn I grabbed that gas can.
Let me.
I may have found a bug. I'll have to check on that one later.
Yeah. And let's see here. So Sarkoth wants to know: is it ugly sweater day at work? It's ugly sweater day every single day in December for Foggy. He's got enough of them that he can actually wear one every single day. Normally that's not my thing. I had to borrow this from him, but appreciated you noticing that. Interesting.
I want to go check out this trader. I know that there was a question out there amongst the community about whether or not crossbows would see sort of a lesser presence or have a smaller presence in this patch. So we'll check and see what the first trader is that shows up.
Yeah, so I think we did scale back, the dominance of those crossbow missions, I believe, has been scaled back now. We didn't put that in the patch notes, but I think that we did sort of disable the thing that was forcing them into the forefront to make sure that everybody got to see that content early on. Now they're pulled back, and now they're just like other missions. There's not you shouldn't see a huge preponderance of crossbow-related missions now, or blood plague consumable-related missions. Okay, so while you're looking around there, let's get into these
fireworks trader.
Cool.
That's pretty awesome. Should we take some stuff?
Yeah, sure. I think I'm going to step aside for just a second and slide your mic down just a little bit to make sure you can be heard. I've got mine right here too. Mine's nice because I've got this black thing right here behind me. And so the mic sort of disappears against it. You can't see that the mic is right in my face. Yours, it's a little bit more. There's nothing to hide it against.
Well, and I have a bad habit of mumbling a bit. So
Honestly, I would take your bad habit of mumbling over my habit of screeching, which, when I was a kid, it got me in so much trouble. Everyone in my classroom would just all be freaking out at the same time.
Right.
The teacher would be all the way down the hall, and the teacher would come in and be like, "Jeffrey Card, what are you doing?" Because I'm the only voice that would actually pierce the entire school building.
Because it would carry all the way down the hallway.
Yeah. Well, everybody else would be loud too, but nobody could tell because they had just normal human voices.
What are we doing here?
All right, so while you do whatever you want, I'm going to start talking about Clio guns.
Okay.
So,
Ooh, Cleo guns.
actually, yeah. So, if you wanted to call in a trader or something like that, so we can have a look at some of them, that would be an option. And actually, that might give us a chance to show off one of the other changes we made.
Oh, I missed.
Oh, you got that guy at least. Holy crap.
Oh, come on now, Mr. Farrell.
So, okay, well, while you're dealing with that Feral, let me tell you about Cleo guns. So, the first thing in the patch notes is the Cleo guns have been rebalanced to make them more valuable in the base game. So one problem we were seeing was, people would play Daybreak and they would unlock all of these Cleo guns as a reward for Daybreak. Oh, yeah, nice. But the Cleo guns were all very heavy. They weren't very durable. They had downsides to them, and that's sort of it's kind of interesting seeing sort of the styles of different designers, because this patch addresses both my tendency to overpower the things that I put in the game, and Brian Giammi's tendency to underpower the things that he puts in the game, because he's very nervous about overpowering the player, and I'm very nervous about players not being entertained enough by the stuff that they got.
Right.
And so we've actually corrected for both of our tendencies with this patch. So we went through, Brian and I went through and looked at all the Cleo guns and figured, okay, we can decrease all of their weight by 20 to 40%, depending on the gun. Some of them got nearly half as heavy as they used to be. Some of them didn't need to be adjusted quite as much. So you should be able to carry them around, like any other gun. I think they're a little heavier than average now, but they're not like ridiculously heavy the way they used to be. All Cleo guns, except for bolt-action rifles, are now 15 to 25% more durable, so they'll last a lot longer. The only reason we didn't change bolt-action rifles is because, of course, they're already maximally durable. You can't make them any more durable than they are. They don't break down. But all the other ones are now more durable, so you can fire them more and not have as many problems. And then all Cleo guns, except for the pistols, are now 20 to 30% faster to reload. The pistols didn't have to get any faster because they were already really quick, but the rest of them kind of took their time. And so now it's much faster to reload them. So we're hoping that this makes the Cleo guns much more feasible as legit guns that you actually want to carry around during the base game and not just use them in Daybreak. But one of the other things that was keeping people from using those guns was Cleo ammo being so hard to come by. Especially the automatic weapons. You would go through so much of the Cleo ammo, and you could only get a few handfuls of it at a time, like one at a time from the Cleo relays. And so, or buying them from the trader, which again, you could only do that so often, and there wasn't very much available. So now we've made it so that there are other ways to get Cleo ammo that are much more consistently available. So first off, the Red Talon crafting station now allows you to manufacture Cleo ammo whenever you want, as long as you've got the ammo resource, circuitry, and prestige. So you still need to play Daybreak, and you still need to have prestige, but you get to decide how much of that prestige you spend on ammo, rather than sort of waiting for this drip of ammo to come slowly over time. And then on top of that, we also have an alternate version of the siege that you can trigger from the Cleo relay that drops, instead of dropping a variety of things, it just drops 8 stacks of Cleo ammo. So you've got a couple of different options now. So if you want to get a whole ton of Cleo ammo, like if I'm going to carry around a gun that has, say, a magazine capacity of 30 and I also have 30 in my pocket, I'm terrified to fire those bullets unless I also know I've got 180 at home waiting for me.
Right.
I never want to fire my last bullet. And so now you can sort of stock up on the bullets and actually want to take them into battle.
So this is clearly an upgrade right here. Like I know that the Cleo battle rifle was more in the 25 to 28 range, I think, right?
For are you talking about for weight?
For weight, yeah.
Yeah, and so now it's a much more reasonable. What was it, like 16 or something?
Yeah,
much more reasonable 16. And I don't actually think my community has got the. Yeah, I don't have the Red Talon manufacturing mod, the crafting station.
No, we don't.
That takes a while to unlock, and I haven't spent the time on it. So we can't show you that, but we promise it's there for those of you who have it. O'Brien points out that it also takes time to craft the ammo. So it's not just having the ammo resource and the circuitry and the prestige. It also takes, instead of being instantaneous like most other crafting action, it actually takes some time, but not a lot of time. So you still should be fine.
Well, and that was one of the things that I noticed about the crafting of the food too, or the crafting of the resources, right? So if you go to the base. Oh
yeah, yeah. That's later on in the patch list, but we can totally look at it now if you want.
Anyway, there's a kitchen in here? No, it's not there. Stop that. Oh, I gotta go.
What's on you? So while you're shaking that person off, actually, open up the whenever you get sort of a moment of peace, which I don't know when that's going to happen.
Right.
Open up the community screen because I want to look at Wexler, who is my Red Talon contractor.
Okay.
So like I said, like Brian has a tendency to sort of make sure that things have lots and lots of downsides, which sometimes means that we need to sort of buff things up in order to compensate for it. I have the opposite problem, which is actually kind of a worse problem. I actually wish I had Brian's problem because Brian's problem was easy to correct. You just make it nicer. I have the problem that I tend to overpower things and give and like I'm so excited to give people like fancy rewards that I forget to make them balanced.
Right.
And so I was in charge of the Red Talon contractors, and they are just ridiculously overpowered. And so we needed to look into ways that we could sort of scale that back just a little bit. But the thing is, we didn't want to take away any of their abilities. We didn't want to take away any of the things that make them powerful. So instead, what we're doing is sort of counterbalancing them with some downsides. So you'll notice here that let's see here, this
Firearms
guy.
enthusiast.
Yeah, so he's a firearms enthusiast. So you notice at the very bottom here, the Red Talon contractor thing, he now is irritable towards other people, which is not a thing they used to have before. So now every Red Talon contractor has a little bit less patience for the other people in the community. Now, if you keep morale above, say, like 20 or 30, that should be no problem. They won't do anything. But if your morale starts getting into the middling level, these guys will starting fights, which they didn't used to do before. So as long as you keep your morale high, nothing changes. Similarly, you'll notice it says sometimes waste. What is that? Ammo.
Waste ammo under the firearms enthusiast. Yeah. So one of the things that's in the patch notes that you were talking about is that these things that define the fifth skill down here. So for firearms, you get cool firearms maintenance, right? Mechanics and engineering, but now they'll sometimes just waste ammo because they need to practice their craft.
Exactly. And so those are the two. So sometimes wasting resources and being irritable. Those are the two effects that will arrive on your existing Red Talon contractors. And originally we actually had a lot more downsides that we're going to dump onto these contractors. But then I got on the Discord and I talked with several fans of the game who, and I ran my ideas by them, like what I wanted to do with these characters to try to counterbalance them a little bit, make them a little bit more interesting to play instead of just being obvious gods that are just better than everyone else in every possible way. And what we sort of ended up arriving on was the idea that, it's okay to give them these negative downsides that can be overcome with morale. So if your morale is high, nothing about the game changes. That kind of felt okay to drop that onto the existing contractors, because if you're managing your community and you're keeping morale high, then you won't suffer any downsides. But that bigger, more powerful downsides, some of the ones that I was discussing with them in the Discord, felt like they were inappropriate to just drop onto existing characters because it felt like taking something that you really valued and making it worse in an unavoidable way. And so we talked it through, and I decided to pull back on those things, and instead those are only on new Red Talon contractors. So if you use the radio option now and call in a new Red Talon contractor, not only will they have that wastes ammo or wastes something. I think the hacker wastes food because he just is snacking all the time.
Well, I mean, you need brain power to operate a computer.
Yeah, it takes a lot of ATP in your blood, or whatever, to keep your brain going. But they also will have an additional downside. Like the quartermaster uses extra beds because he's got to store all the crap that he's keeping track of. And I should have actually brought a list of all of the different ones that they do. Some of them contribute. There's a couple who consider their main job to be away from base, and so they don't contribute to labor at the base. Like I said, I think that the hacker actually eats more, consumes more food each day, and there's a few other. There's a few. I think somebody. The guy who gives fortifications, or the people that give fortifications, they slow down all of the work at the base because they insist on everything being built to a much higher spec, stuff like that. So. Those changes, those downsides come with brand new Red Talon contractors, but check out the radio option for recruiting them though, whenever you get a sec. So you'll notice $27.50 is the new. You can't really read it that well because it's in red because they don't have that much. But $27.50 is a new cost. It used to be $32.50, but Red Talon kind of recognized that their recruitment pool was kind of getting a little shallow, and the people they had to offer just had more downsides to them, and so they've decided to charge less prestige for their contractors. They value them a little bit less. So it's kind of sad for the contractors, but they're Red Talon. They can handle it. They can their feelings won't get too hurt. Right. But yeah, so $27.50. So remember that value. $27.50 is the new cost for the Red Talon contractors. So we gave them some downsides. We also made them less expensive, and on top of that, right now, if you it used to be that if you paid $32.50 for a contractor, and then you looked at them and you realized you didn't want that particular character and you wanted to dismiss them and try again, you would only get 3,000 back. And the idea behind that was, we weren't just trying to be punishing or something. The idea behind that was, part of the thematic, sort of push of State of Decay is about this, this apocalyptic idea that you can no longer have exactly what you want anymore. That's one of the sort of the themes of apocalypse stories in general, is that you can't have everything perfect. You're always making do with less than what you would expect. And so the idea that that you could just sort of perfectly customize your best character, or just keep trying to recruit guys until you get the exact perfect one you want, it felt like you actually get more out of a post-apocalyptic story if you're being encouraged to accept things that are less than perfect. And so the reason why we wanted to put that sort of cost difference in there, where you didn't get a full refund, was because we wanted to encourage people to want to. Did you just jump over someone who was tackling you?
Yeah.
What the crap? Okay. We really wanted to encourage people to accept less than perfect. To say, it would actually cost me something to dismiss this guy. Maybe he's good enough. Maybe she's good enough. Maybe I'll invite her into my community anyway. But there's a problem. Which is the fact that whenever you're designing something, you're trying to use incentives like that to encourage people to have the best experience. Sometimes you'll accidentally encourage an exploit, and in this particular case, it is possible to quit the game during that recruitment mission, then come back and have a different contractor. Which meant that if you wanted to avoid that extra 250 prestige cost, you could just quit and come back. The problem is quitting and coming back means looking at loading screens for a long time, and it's just a really not optimal experience. And so we looked at that problem. We realized, what? We're trying really hard to use this cost difference to incentivize players to have the best experience. But if all we're doing is incentivizing them to have a worse experience, it's not worth it. So we took that out. So now if you pay $27.50 for a Red Talon contractor and then you dismiss them, you get $27.50 back. So we're trying to let you keep all your prestige. There should be no reason for you to sort of leave the game and come back to try to re-roll them. Just go ahead and stay in the game, have a good time, get your prestige back. It's no big deal. So let me see what else we have here. So one thing we did try to do, by the way, since the Red Talon contractors are getting downsides, we really tried to make sure that it was a variety of different downsides, so that because a lot of you actually have a bunch of communities that have a bunch of Red Talon contractors, and you like to build these communities that have multiple Red Talon contractors. And if we gave them all the same downsides, it would feel a lot like, oh man, you're in trouble with this guy. What would happen is they would all stack up, right? And like if every Red Talon contractor took 2 beds, then having 10 Red Talon contractors would mean you would need 20 beds, which is just a completely impossible number. And so we have some of them need extra beds, but then if you're getting a nice variety of them, some will affect your beds, some will affect your action speed, some will affect your labor, some will affect your food consumption, and they'll all have a different, they'll spread out their effects across a bunch of different characters and a bunch of different stats. So it should make them more manageable, even if you want to sort of stack up a whole bunch of them. Jay Swizzle asks, is there any way we can switch leaders without exiling them? Right now, no, we still haven't done that, but we have heard that, and that is near the top of our priority list for the next time we get the opportunity to add new features like this to the game. That is one that we really want to do, because we understand, I mean, it was in our original plan, and we understand the desire for it. We'd love to have it ourselves.
Oh yeah, I've got dead people to go and loot, don't I?
Leon Anagers is asking about how crafting actions will often kick you back out to a higher level menu in the crafting screen. That was also not an element of these patch notes. That is another one that we've noticed, but that particular one, it will take a lot of time to fix because there's something fundamental in the structure of that screen that actually makes it really difficult to not exit out when we execute one of those actions. So we would like to make that change, and it's on our list, but it will take some time. So FFLX Angel asks if State of Decay 3 has been confirmed. We certainly have not confirmed a game by that title, but Matt Booty has talked publicly. Matt Booty is one of our high up there bosses at Microsoft, has talked publicly about the fact that the reason they acquired this studio is because they intend to make more State of Decay. So, take that however you will, whether it would be called State of Decay 3 or something else, or just, this franchise, we are planning for it to continue. We just don't have a name for how it's continuing yet, because we're still solving a lot of those problems. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, so some of the other ideas that folks have suggested, like being able to select from a group of potential Red Talon contractors, that's a really good idea. It would take restructuring that entire mission. So, Maris, I've written that down, and that is a good idea. We don't have that in this patch. There's a lot of things that are not in this patch. In fact, why don't I get back
to what's in the patch.
To what's actually in the patch?
Yeah. Like for instance, this is new, right? I don't remember the little zoom icon.
That's true. Wait,
the zoom icon in the
that's
bottom
true.
right
That is
hand,
brand new.
I think that's new in 6.0.
I think that's further down the patch notes list. So I don't know if people knew where to look to see what you're saying. You see above the Y button, which is telling you how you can switch your fire mode. It's got a zoom button. So if you've got a weapon that has a sight or a scope, it'll tell you right there. So you don't have to just randomly hit buttons to guess. And were you just crouching and uncrouching? Because that's another thing we just fixed, too.
That was another thing, yeah.
So in the last patch, in 5.0, we fixed the fact that the camera was all wonky whenever you tried to zoom in. But there was one case that we didn't catch, which was switching between crouching and standing while you're aiming. But you'll notice, it used to look really wonky. But you'll notice that Joe was just doing that a bunch, and it just looked normal. And so it's one of those fixes where if you aren't thinking about it, you might not realize it's a fix because you might forget that used to be a problem. But yeah, it is much smoother now to be aiming and to be crouching and moving around than it used to be.
Well, and one of my favorite fixes in this patch is this. Just how smooth that is.
Oh yeah, the gun used to sort of shake in your hand, like I don't know, like you were going through alcohol withdrawal or something like that, and yeah, now it doesn't. It just smoothly moves back and forth. So yeah, that is another big fix we did. So in Daybreak, ferals should no longer occasionally enter a T pose when moving around. The T pose, in case you know, is their arms out and their legs straight down, which is sort of a starting position that a lot of models naturally have before the animators get to them. And so if a character model is running around and it doesn't have an animation, it'll just go straight into that T pose. And so apparently ferals were getting into that pose sometimes, and we've fixed that bug. Hostile NPCs should now properly trigger the detonation of deployable minefields they stumble into. So those deployable minefields from Daybreak that were really effective against zombies, apparently they weren't working against humans. And so now they are. So you can use those if you get into trouble like Joe did earlier fighting some hostile human beings.
Oh, come on. I just dragged a feral and a juggernaut at him.
Oh, I didn't mean in trouble like you were going to lose my character. I mean in trouble like there was trouble happening. Followers should now properly follow the player when in the vicinity of a deployable minefield.
Oh, that's another thing.
Yeah.
So this was actually a big thing that was among the community, and thank you for mentioning followers.
Oh yeah.
Let me see if I can find one because I want to show this off because this one has been plaguing a lot of people. I don't personally play with followers, so it doesn't really mess with me very much. This one, hopefully we don't run into a different follower bug here, but people will recognize this one. Watch this. Pretty cleanly getting into the car.
At least cleaner than before.
Yeah, and then let's use one that has 2 doors.
Hey, did you miss me?
let's use one that has 2 doors to show the pathing is fixed. Look at that. Look at that. He now properly goes around the car instead of through it. So we fixed that one. We fixed that one for you
Cool.
guys.
And I think that one might not have even made the patch note list, which is why it's good to have you here.
Yeah.
Because you're much more aware of what's been going on in the game than even typical other people on the team.
Yeah.
And then, we improved the performance and reliability of VO playback during various moments in the game. So, I don't know exactly which moments those are, but there were probably places where that was weird, and it's less weird now. So, what are you heading out to do right now? This might actually be a good time to show
the wizard van.
Show the new gift. Yeah, the Christmas present that we've got for you
all
guys.
right, so I just gave it away, kind of. But we have a Christmas present for you guys, which is also in your patch notes. So anybody that's already gone there, you've done great things and you've looked at this. So for the winter holiday of 2018, we have decided to give our fans, all of our players, the Wizard Van. So let's call that one in from our radio menu. So you open up the radio, you go down to holiday content, and approximately every 180 minutes, it is a hairy wizard. You'll be able to call in this really awesome van. Let's see, where did it go? There it is. Okay. Let's go get that bad boy.
So while you're running over there, let's see here. Oh, actually, do you have any consumables on you? Like health consumables. You just have throwables, right?
Yeah, I just have throwables right
Okay,
now.
so yeah, later on, let's grab some like health consumables so we can show off
We
what
have
you
an
can,
outpost
new thing
somewhere.
you can do in the car.
Somewhere up there.
You're pretty close to your actual base. Yeah. We can just drive it back home and grab it. But look at that thing. It looks like the cover of a 1970s Dungeons and Dragons manual or something.
Right. My first thought when I first saw it, I was just like, oh man, it reminds me a little bit of The Hobbit. Like you got.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take a few liberties with Gandalf there and that give him like yellow robes.
It's like, yeah, it's like, is he riding on that dragon though? I don't think that's something that Gandalf ever did.
It looks like a fight. Like if you take a look at the side there. Oh, that's a juggernaut.
Oh, hello. Ah, he's going to destroy our van. We just got it.
That's not gonna happen.
Oh, no, you're going to destroy the van.
I'm gonna destroy the van.
Okay, so while he's trying to lose all these, holy crap. Okay, so another thing we did is, if you've been playing the game for a while, hordes are bigger.
So
Check that out.
So here's what hordes look like on day 38.
But yeah, so it used to be that basically the biggest a horde ever got was like maybe 5 zombies. The numbers were pretty small, but now if you've been playing with a particular community for a while, you can have pretty sizable hordes. They're up to 3 times the size that they used to be. So you've got, you can have huge, blood plague hordes. You can have huge regular hordes. Everything just gets a little bigger once you've been playing the game for a while. And that should we actually had a question from somebody before the stream about whether or not that gets reset every time you move maps. It's actually your community. It's we don't want to get into the details of exactly how it works, but your community, how long they've been growing and how long they've been developing, that determines how big the hordes are. So even if you switch maps, you still got the same community, and so it should be the same.
And so actually, that's another thing we might want to call out here, Jeffrey.
What's that?
I'd forgotten about this. So I'm trying to use if I try to use it, it gives me the click.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so yeah, notice he's got little Ghostbusters forbidden symbols on top of his consumables there. Those didn't used to be there. It used to be you could just see your consumables and you couldn't use any of them in the car. And so we just kind of expected people to kind of figure out that's how it worked and get used to it. Now you can actually see, oh yeah, he can't throw grenades because he's in the car. However, there are certain consumables, mostly health and stamina consumables, that you can use while you're in the car, and those do not have that little circle / icon over them. So sometime later on, we'll check it out. We'll get a health consumable, and we'll use it in the van, so you can see that actually works now. So now, it actually is a viable strategy to get into a fight with zombies, run to your car, get in the car, heal up in the car, and then get back out again, which is something you used to not be able to do. So even if your car is out of gas, it's still a useful place for shelter.
I feel kind of bad that the first thing I did with the wizard van was go out and just run over mobs and mobs.
And just destroy it?
Yeah. All right.
Noble Might is asking whether we still have the issue with followers standing in bloater clouds, and we haven't fixed that one in this patch, but we are aware of it. It's on our list.
Oh, we didn't fix that in this patch?
I didn't think we. Oh, maybe we did.
Do
you remember us fixing it?
I think we did. And
Oh
so
crap! Did I?
will,
Did I forget? Okay, now I'm gonna look. I probably did remember that wrong.
That's okay. We can.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Test it.
So So I had it in my head that I'd heard about that bug somewhere else after we'd already finalized this list. But I'm probably just insane, and we probably did fix it. We will get to that, sir.
Well, let's go find a bloater.
Okay, you go find a bloater. I'll talk about Enclave benefits. So during the last patch 5.0, we made a change that made it so that your allied enclaves demanded attention from you less often, about half as often as they did before, because it was just getting annoying having to maintain those guys. However, half as often still happens. It still takes a lot of work to keep these enclaves happy, and so we wanted to make sure that it was worth it. So we went back in and looked at all of the benefits that your allied enclaves can give you. You know, some of them offer, like resources or beds or whatever. We tripled the number of different options that you had, different benefits that enclaves could offer you, and we made almost all of them more powerful than they were before. So now having an ally should make a bigger difference to your strategy than it did before. And there's just a lot more interesting things that they could offer you. So we're hoping that makes it feel like it's a little bit more worth it to spend the time maintaining those relationships with outside enclaves. Yeah. Okay. So I already went over the fact that we've got bigger hordes now. So that's the one like difficulty related change that we just made. And so each time we make a patch, the game does seem to get just a little bit harder. So hopefully you guys are keeping up with that. I think if anything, we're just trying to play catch up with you.
Well, and I think that there have been a couple of people who were actually reporting that they were seeing way too many freaks that were spawning. Like they would get new communities. That we are looking into that still. So trying to make sure that everybody's happy with the difficulty settings.
So you've got a first aid kit now, and we can notice that it is actually usable right now.
And the reason I grabbed a first aid kit is because I don't have any missing health, but I do have like trauma or an injury there, so I needed a kit. So as you're driving around now, you can now use that health, and you can see that the injury and/or trauma is now gone.
And you never had to even stop driving the car. You're like wrapping the bandage around your arm while you're driving. You get your knees up on the steering wheel.
Well, I do have a follower. Maybe they were taking care of it.
They probably helped you out. Yeah, no, that's probably true.
Maybe that's part of it there.
Distracted driving is still a bad idea, though, guys. Okay, so you already mentioned that ranged weapons no longer jitter in your hands as you're moving them left and right. So we got that covered.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, we've got a new option in the gameplay section of the settings menu. Actually, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I might need to switch into this mode so you can see it. Yeah, so include unusual zombies. So right now that's turned on. If you turn it off, I think you actually have to restart the game for it to take effect. There we go. Yeah. But if you turn it off, what that means is the Conehead zombies, the Revolutionary War zombies, and the clown zombies will disappear. So that is a very that's a common request that we got from a lot of folks, was that some people just really wanted a certain level of immersion in the game, that they felt like the zombies were being taken more seriously, and they didn't want zombies that showed up in costume or being silly or making references to other games. And so now it's an option. So if you want to keep all those zombies in the game, great, you can. But if you want to turn that off, you're totally free to. It just needs a quick. I think you have to just go out to the main menu and come back if you do it mid-game before it'll take effect. So a couple minor bugs. We fixed a bug related to rapidly placing explosives that could result in premature detonation and character death, which could be pretty painful. So I'm just gonna cough real quick.
Okay. Do we have any idea what the explosive is?
I think it was just any placed explosive. If you did it too quickly, there's a chance you would just accidentally detonate it.
Right, so I'm going to grab some C4 for this playing herd then.
Okay, just and so place them as quickly as you want now that we're in patch 6.0. Let's see here. Oh, we increased the size of safe zones that were created by clearing large sites to accurately encompass their area. So it used to be that basically all safe zones that were made to stop zombie spawns around areas you just cleared were all about the same size. And so if you cleared a really big place, the safe zone wouldn't be nearly big enough to make a difference. And so now they scale appropriately. Survivor traits that reduce the number of required beds should be accurately counted by the morale system. So the morale system had a problem where there were certain ways that you could, the game required less beds, but the morale system wouldn't notice, and so it would still be telling you don't have enough beds, even when you did, because one of your characters just, they're the kind, I sleepwalk all night or whatever, and they didn't require a bed.
Well, and generally it also dealt with this one that you happen to have right here, Vigil Guard, on these Red Talent contractors. So that was probably the most prolific source.
Yeah, there are a lot of those guys in the game now, and yeah, they all try not to use beds, but yeah, if it only works in some of the systems, then that's not as good. So now it should work everywhere. Let's see here. We fixed an exploit that prevented hostile enclaves from defending their base when mines were planted in the area. So I think that kind of ties into just NPCs were generally way too intimidated by the deployed minefields, and so now they are less so. They're acting correctly around them. We solved a rare crash that could result when destroying a plague heart with ignited bloater gas. So that shouldn't happen anymore. Hopefully, I hope that not too many of you ran into that one.
Ooh, do we have bloater gas?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think we've collected that in this particular save. Zombies should show up more often inside buildings you're exploring. So they used to just not spawn in there. There's a lot of safeguards to keep zombies from just spawning right in front of your face. And so we've tweaked the system so that they're not sort of overcorrecting and refusing to show up inside buildings with you. They will show up inside buildings with you more often than they used to. Oh, but on the other hand, random zombies should now not show up inside an infestation you've just cleared. So if you've just barely cleared a house, you shouldn't then have another zombie spawn right on top of it. And then any attempt to pick up stackable items from the ground now tries to pick up all items in the stack. So I think that used to not be consistent. So now if you see a single icon on the ground representing a stack when you walk up, it's going to try to pick up the entire stack.
Oh, hey, and here we can check to make sure whether or not that follower stuff about the plague heart gas and the bloater gas is fixed or not.
Okay, yeah, let's check that out.
'Cause I'm pretty sure that was fixed. I'm hoping.
So you already called out the fact that you can now produce ammo, meds, and food at your base with the right facility and the right ingredients. So breaking that down, meds are produced at any infirmary from parts, chemicals, and ethanol. So if you've got parts, chemicals, and ethanol, you can make the meds resource at an infirmary. Ammo is produced at any workshop or armory out of parts and chemicals. So if you've got parts and chemicals and you don't have ethanol, that's fine. Make ammo instead of meds. And then food is produced at any kitchen by spending seeds and ethanol, which sounds delicious. I imagine that's just alcoholic cream of wheat is what that is.
That's what it sounds like.
Seeds and ethanol. So remember that recipe. That's important. So the idea was, we've got the ability to switch materials to parts and parts to materials. We've got the ability to manufacture fuel, but we didn't give you the ability to manufacture the other resources. So we kind of wanted to balance it out. So if you're in a place where, for some reason, whatever reason, you ended up with a severe shortage of one resource, you do have some way to make a small amount of it at a time if you need it, to keep your community going, without having to just completely scuttle the entire map. So you already pointed out that we can use parking facilities to move gas cans and toolkits directly to your from your community's inventory into your vehicle. So that's covered. The infirmary now uses characters' nicknames. This was a serious problem for a while. Like when you're trying to check somebody into the infirmary, for some reason the infirmary was showing their entire full given name instead of the nickname that they go by everywhere else. So if somebody's name was, I don't know, Sponge or something, some weird wacko name, you would have to remember their real name in order, and their picture in order to check them in.
William McGee is named Sponge, but you would only show him up.
I'm actually now regretting the fact that Sponge is not one of our nicknames, and I'm probably going to go back and add it to the game. I'm not sure what trait or name I'll assign it to, but Sponge has got to be there. But yeah, so that should be easier.
All right, so we'll check on the infirmary here. So what Jeffrey was referring to is here. So you go into the infirmary, and when you were checking them in before, instead of
Wexler and Toro.
Wexler and Toro and Jacob, you would see
whatever. Like, what's Toro's full name? Yeah, so you would say Amos Wexler, which might not be that bad, but
where's Toro?
he's to the right, I think.
There's Toro.
Oh yeah, so Toro. Oh, Toro goes by his last name, and so you'd see Ronald Toro there, and you'd be like, it's a little harder to grab onto it, and especially I don't think we have anybody in our community right now that has a wacko name, but if they had a wacko name, it would get even harder. We've been talking a lot, and we're running low on time, and we've got a lot of these things. Don't run away though, because even if we run a little bit long, we've got a big Christmas giveaway that we want to do. So I hope you've been paying attention to the patch notes, because I've dropped the answers to our trivia questions into the patch notes, or into our discussion here. So make sure that you've been paying attention, and we've got some actually awesome stuff to give away. So please stick around, because not only do we have the usual State of Decay pins available, but you guys remember that box of collector's stuff that you used to be able to order at the same time as State of Decay if you pre-ordered? There were some extras lying around, and so we've got 3 of these that we want to give away. And there might even be one more like grand prize that we'll reveal a little bit later that is even better than either of those 2 things. So stick around. If there's ever a time you wanted to get involved with our trivia questions, this is the time.
Some really awesome prizes, you guys.
So let's see here. So, missions that involve searching for dead bodies or killing zombified humans now pinpoint the corpses with icons on the minimap. So, have you had this experience where, like, a mission sends you somewhere and you're supposed to find a dead body, and maybe it doesn't even tell you you're supposed to find a dead body, you're just supposed to search for something, you have no idea where it is?
Like, especially the ones with the network, they call you randomly, and then you show up and they're already dead. And then you find out that you killed them amongst all the zombies that had killed them in the first place. And so then you're like, well, which one of these was the jerk? And you had to find sort of what appeared to be a searchable container. Well, now it's actually marked with sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Coffin.
There's like a coffin icon on them, and so now you actually have a mission icon that can. So I don't think it's the coffin icon actually. I think what you can get is just a regular mission icon, just like you were searching for a container, but instead of dropping on the building and expecting you to just search the entire grounds until you find the dead body wherever it happens to lie, even if the character wandered away from the building and was killed by a zombie outside the grounds and is in some weird place, now you've got an icon that is directly on the body, so you can totally go and find it in any of those missions. We also resolved an exploit that let players cancel threatening to leave missions by quitting and restarting the game. So it used to be that if one of your characters got frustrated, and they got so frustrated they were threatening to leave the community, you could just quit and come back, and that mission would not come back. and they wouldn't be threatening to leave anymore. Now we actually are doing it properly, and it remembers who was threatening to leave, and even if the mission doesn't come back immediately, it will come back very quickly. So there's no point in quitting and coming back trying to make threatening to leave characters stick around, because it's not going to happen anymore. And we also fixed a potential case where some NPCs in an enclave would not be visible during an objective to kill them all. That was a problem, but hopefully it was a rare one, and hopefully a lot of you didn't encounter that one.
Oh, there was a bloater.
So, okay, I got to start blasting through these because we are running out of time. So we tightened up the graphics, which, you know, I don't know if you get that reference, but there's a ridiculous commercial that involves tightening up the graphics. But anyway, but we did in kind of undefined magical ways that a graphics programmer would understand and that I don't. But we now have higher and more consistent resolution and frame rate on the Xbox One. So, the Xbox One X was already doing fine. The Xbox One, we've kind of recovered from a lot of the resolution and frame rate problems that could crop up there. So it should be a lot more consistent now and look a lot better. So thanks to the programmer who discovered how to do that one, because it make I play on a standard Xbox One and the game's running a lot smoother now. So you already called out the fact that when you're crouching and you're zoomed in and you bounce up and down into the crouch, that used to look really weird. Now it looks normal. We reworked our anti-aliasing system to reduce ghost outlines and blur artifacts when rotating the camera. So just rotating the camera should feel a lot smoother now than it used to. And then similarly, lens flare effects used to have some artifacts associated with them. Now they're smoother and crisper, so they just look like better lens flares. So in multiplayer, in the multiplayer section of the settings menu, we added options for voice chat and just generally made it awesomer. Like it's got like previews of what each item does, like explanations. It's just more useful, the multiplayer menu and the settings menu. But yeah, if you want to head over there. So yeah, as you can see, like there's an explanation on each highlighted button for what it does, and you'll notice down at the bottom, push to talk. You can enable push to talk. The problem is there's no button for it. So what we've done is, so if you go down to remapping the controls, we have not assigned a button to push to talk. That's up to you to pick which button you think is appropriate. We recommend that you choose probably it's left on the D-pad. That's the emotes button. If you're not using a lot of emotes, that's a pretty expendable button. So you could basically unmap that from emotes and leave emotes unassigned, and then assign that to push to talk if that's what you want. But if you come up with some other clever solution, I know some people around here tried putting on a stick click that felt appropriate to them. So whatever feels appropriate to you, go for it. We didn't really have room to integrate it properly into everybody's game, but if push to talk is really important to you, hopefully you'll be able to find a way to work that into your control scheme.
It's now part of your settings now.
Yeah, exactly. Great. I'm excited. So when a player speaks over in-game, so a lot of these multiplayer ones we're not going to be able to show you right now, so we'll just run through them real fast. When a player speaks over in-game chat, their player indicator pulses to indicate which character is talking. So you can actually tell which of your friends is which just from watching them talk instead of having them to remind you all the time. When a client is tethered to a host who is driving a vehicle, they now land in the passenger seat in that vehicle rather than being dumped by the side of the road like garbage. So if you're the guest in a game and the host drives away in a car, and then you tether to them, you don't just tether to a nearby spot on the ground and then they keep driving away in their stupid car. You just land in the car, presuming there's room in the car for you to do that. We fixed a rare case where the host would think a client's character died if they sustained many injuries, healed, and then sustained more injuries. So you don't want your host and your client to disagree about who's dead or not. So now they should always be on the same page. We fixed a rare crash bug that could occur when an Xbox client joined a UWP host. UWP is Universal Windows Platform. Thank you. Universal Windows P is what that stands for.
Or Windows Play Anywhere.
Yeah, so basically if you're doing a Play Anywhere game between an Xbox One and a PC, there was a crash that could occur, and now that crash does not occur. You can no longer make progress towards the Citizen Z achievement, which is the one for using radio commands. By using the stuck radio command again and again, or just calling and canceling flares. You have to use actual radio commands that are effective in the game in order to do that. And then finally, the interface section. We're getting so close, guys. We're going to do the giveaway. We reworked the use of icons in the HUD and the character panel, so the icons that pop up next to the health, stamina, and infection meters can be followed all the way into the deepest menu to find out what they mean. Now, we're actually not in a position to demonstrate that right now, because normally, if you were fatigued or injured or something, down there on your bars, you'd have some little icons floating around. Though we do actually have...
infection meter.
So one of the other things, we changed the visual language of the infection meter. It used to be when you were not infected yet, you were progressing from nothing to a thermometer representing being sick, and then from a thermometer to blood plague. Now, we start with that thermometer on the screen, and the reason for that is to support this idea that when you look at an icon down there in your HUD, you should be able to open your character panel and find out what that icon means. And for a while, the HUD, the character panel, and the community screen all had different rules for which icons meant what things, and it was confusing. And so if you want to open up the character panel, get out of there and open up the character panel real quick. We can't really see a lot of the details here. Oh, there you go. That works. So you had a tab to the tab again. There we go. So yeah, so when you highlight your health and stamina, you can see that same icon, the icon that's right down here, the thermometer, it appears up there. To show you that, oh, that's what that means, is that I'm fighting an infection. And similarly, if you had other icons around your stamina and health meter, those exact same icons will appear in that panel to tell you what they mean. And they'll also be the same icons that appear on the community screen hovering over your character's head. So you'll be able to just chase those icons all the way deep into the menu system and find out what they actually mean.
Give the guy a marathon already. Well,
Okay.
now, do we have more viewers? Can we get more votes on this?
I think it just kept going back and forth. I think it really is just up to you.
All right.
So if they're saying marathon, go for marathon. I vote marathon, and I've got a tie-breaking vote.
Okay.
And then, let's see here, last but not least, so show HUD and show notifications, those are options on the settings menu. They used to have kind of spotty effects on the game, where sometimes, they're somewhere. There we go. So show HUD and show notifications. When you turn them off, there were certain things that would stay on. Now they're actually much more consistently working, which means, for instance, you don't have a crosshair right now because you turned it off. And then, let's see here. And then on the PC, this one was just a pet peeve of mine working at my desk. So for some reason, my controller that I connected to my PC was it was player 2 for some reason. Just sometimes that happens,
right.
When you're plugging Xbox controllers into a PC. It was an Xbox 360 controller, and it had some confusion, and so I couldn't play the game with that controller until I fixed something. So now any controller you plug into your PC, it will read as a valid controller. It won't just look for player 1 and ignore all the other players. It'll pick whichever thing you've got. So there you go. And so, sorry that I've been ignoring the chat. I just wanted to get through all of that stuff before we completely ran out of time.
And everybody's put a lot of work into 6.0, and we're really hoping that you enjoy it for your holiday.
Yeah, and if you don't enjoy it because something's wrong with it, I hope you'll tell Joe all about it.
But I won't be able to do anything about that till roughly January 2nd.
That's true, but you should please stack up as many tickets on him as you possibly can. No, I'm kidding, sorry. But yeah, so support.stateofdecay.com is where you can report this kind of thing. And ML Maras is saying that he thinks that he's got a theory about what our grand prize is going to be for our giveaway, which we're about to do. He's guessing that it's a date with Brant. So go ahead and dream, but let's actually get into what we're really doing. So while you're fixing up the car, let's get to our first question. Okay, so these questions are going to be about the patch notes, so I hope you guys are paying attention. Our first question, and this is for a State of Decay to pin. So we're going to have one winner on YouTube, one winner on Mixer, and one winner on Twitch. And basically, answer the question as fast as you can. If you're in the first dozen or so who get it right, you're going to be entered in, and one of you will be randomly selected to be the winner of this pin. And if you are a winner of a pin or you're a winner of our next prize, those 6 people are going to be sort of in the running to get the grand prize. So, which I'll show you in a minute. So, the question for this pin is, you guys ready? What is the new cost for Red Talon contractors? It used to be 3,250 prestige. What is it now? Let's go back to the game. And while you guys answer that question. And once we got some winners, we'll come back and give prizes. We're going to run over today. Sorry about that for anyone that affects, including you, Joe.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't have anything planned for 2 o'clock. But we really want to get these gifts given away.
No problem.
So in the meantime, we're driving this wizard van.
I did want to, before it gets lost in the sea of correct answers here.
Yeah.
I did want to give a shout out to Dunedin and for saying thank you. Like, we do really care about our fans, and we do really want you to have the best experience possible. We put a lot of work and thought into how to make this game work best for you. So, we appreciate the appreciation, and it keeps us going too. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And it looks like we do have a lot of right answers coming through. So, yeah, looking forward. So, Megan has the task of trying to turn these into 3 solid winners. Looks like she's working on that, so that's good to hear. So, remotely peachy, you are not losing your mind. I'll just leave that there. So now we're parking. So now with the new patch, if you wanted to, you could load that van up with. Oh my gosh, what is this?
It's a Pharaoh.
It's Pharaoh showing up more often, which is a thing that apparently happened in 5.0 without us meaning to. Oh man.
Well, we're like I said, we're investigating this a little bit more.
Yeah, but I mean, I for one am not complaining about a little bit more drama in the game. Nice. Feels so satisfying to shoot those guys in the head, especially when they're moving around.
Right. Not quite as satisfying with a Clio gun as it is with like a crossbow, simply because
That's
with
'cause it's
most
so hard.
crossbows, you've got one shot, or you're gonna have to chop them in half. Good luck with that one.
Okay, so we do have some winners. So first off, the right answer is 2,750 prestige, and a lot of people got that. You can see, like, right here in the chat, a ton of people got that right. So 2,750 prestige is the answer, and we've got some winners. So on Mixer, the winner is Balanced Siren 82. On Twitch, the winner is Prime Northing Bud. He's the best of the Northing Buds.
Right.
Or maybe the original. And then on YouTube, Nathan Wolf. So congratulations, guys. You're going to get some... I'm going to drop them all over the place. You're going to get some State of Decay 2 pins. So now we've got another contest. And we already showed you this at the beginning. This is the collector's content. This is the content... I just call everything content now that I've been working in the entertainment industry. This is the collector's edition stuff, whatever you want to call it. So it includes, you can see here, a latex zombie mask, a steelbook for the State of Decay 2 disc, a brain to stick that steelbook in, a thumb drive that looks like an actual thumb, and looks like a State of Decay 2 patch. So that is a bunch of stuff. And so this is the prize for this next question. So be ready. What 2 ingredients do you combine to make food at a kitchen? We've added the ability for you to create the food resource yourself, manufacture it at the kitchen, and how exactly do you do that? So we will switch back to Joe. So what's going on here?
So I'm going to double check. But the bloater's gone. Oh well, we'll have to find him again. I was going to double check and make sure that the bloater problem is fixed. Although it looks like there's probably still some more AI things that need to be sorted.
Yeah. Testing live on the air. It's always great.
Oh, I thought there was a bloater out here. Oh, it's because I was right. There's a bloater out here.
So it looks like we are getting a lot of right answers coming in on the in the chat. So Megan is sorting through those, and we have gone over time, but we want to give this stuff away. Hey, looks like we've got a winner chosen on YouTube.
Okay, so it looks promising so far.
he's avoiding it. Oh, maybe we did fix that. I don't know.
Or maybe some of it got fixed and some of it still needs some love. But either way, when I was messing around with 6.0, and by messing around I mean investigating to make sure that I was up to snuff with what was going out, I noticed that a lot of the follower behavior has been fixed.
So yeah, so we got a lot of folks who basically, who whether they're formally working on like the official update, patch update that we've planned, or whether they're just working at their desk and they have some spare time. We got people fixing bugs in this game constantly. So it's really easy for something to make it into the game and not make it into the patch notes, which is why I was sketching this one, because I did not. Okay, so I'm glad I'm not crazy that I didn't remember not reading into the patch notes.
No, it's not there.
Pretty sure the patch notes do not say that we made any fixes in that regard, but maybe it did get a little better. Hard to say. So we do have winners now, so I'm going to switch back to quiz mode here. Okay, so what 2 ingredients do you combine to make food? I think you can see it in the chat over there. The answers are seeds and ethanol. So your beautiful alcoholic, spiked cream of wheat is what you're having there. Except so your alcoholic gruel.
Although it might just be like that you have like fried wheat. Maybe it pops up like popcorn or something.
Oh, maybe so. Yeah, popcorn. Oh, interesting.
Because you're burning the ethanol underneath the pan instead of inside it.
So it's not actually, so you're not actually getting drunk off this food. You're just using the ethanol to cook it. That makes a lot of sense.
Maybe that's just the fuel for the fire underneath. Not likely though. I mean, it is the apocalypse. You got to deal with it somehow. Yeah.
Some folks are saying, hey, the alcohol cooks out. It's not a big deal.
That's a lie,
okay. So our winners on YouTube, John Thomas Stanford wins one of these crazy boxes. On Twitch, Maxi55555 wins one of these. And on Mixer, Norix TT wins one of these. So congratulations, all you guys. I'm trying to remember if any of you guys have won anything from one of our quizzes before. I know that I've seen Balanced Siren and Nathan Wolf around a bunch. I don't remember if any of you actually won before though. So if for any of you for whom this is your first win, congratulations, you got a good one. But you guys might have noticed that I've been going through some wardrobe changes over the course of this this stream, and so this is my last wardrobe change. Look at this beautiful jacket. It's a Bronto Gas jacket based on the location in the game. And this jacket is actually our grand prize. We've got it in 4 different sizes, so you might not get this exact one that I'm sweating into and probably coughing on later on. You'll probably get a different one. But so Megan is going to do a drawing of those 6 winners that we just had, and one of them is going to get this jacket or one very similar to it. So whenever that pops up on my screen, I'll let you know who it is. And in the meantime, we're going to see what Joe's doing. Heading to the gazebo.
I'm doing that boring thing where you like level up your cardio by running around in your base.
Oh, yeah. I have so many fun memories of like jumping around the world of Morrowind, trying to get my acrobatics skill up.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Jeffrey. I appear to have put you into the legacy mode.
Oh, have you started a legacy?
Yeah, apparently I've killed the last plague heart on your map.
Nice. Awesome. I have no problem with that. I've been meaning to. I want to unlock more legacies with my account because we do so much to sort of screwing around and not trying to progress that I actually have a severe paucity of legacies unlocked.
All right. Well, let's get this one started. At least we can talk to somebody.
Well, Megan just announced that we've got our grand prize winner. So Nathan Wolf. This is no longer my jacket, Nathan. This is your jacket. So all of you, to get your prizes, you'll need to talk to Megan. Get her your mailing address or whatever it is you need. And Nathan, tell her what size you need. We got 4 different sizes. We might not have yours. I don't know how big you are, but we will try to get you the closest jacket we can. And congratulations, because this thing is really, and it's actually legit warm. Like, I got one of these jackets a while back when I did a stream with Microsoft Studios, and they gave me we were showing off the jacket, and they gave me the jacket at the end. I was like, okay, cool, I got a jacket, but I couldn't wear it that month because it was too hot. Like, this is an actual serious jacket. This isn't just like one of those, windbreakers that they give out to all the people on the movie set or something like that, and it's like made out of nothing, made out of like tissue paper. This is a real jacket. So I mean, it's not going to get you through like a Montana winter or something like that, but it's it's real. So congratulations, and thanks to everybody who participated and got the right answers, and Megan for making this whole thing happen. This is cool. So we are over time. Let me check my notes, make sure that I'm not forgetting any last stuff here. Really, just the main thing I want to say is just thank you all for giving us such a good year. I mean, this game came out, you all supported it.
Exactly.
You came in here and you played all of the weird and crazy DLCs and updates that we've done over the course of the past year. You've given us feedback. You've sent sent Joe running into our offices telling us what's up with the game. So just thank you all so much. I mean, really, this one of the reasons that this holiday is going to be fun for us is because you guys have made this entire year so good for us. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
And just remember, for those of you who weren't here at the very beginning of the show, we're moving to a new time next year. So this is the last show of 2018. We're going to pick up in 2019 on January 8th at 2 o'clock. So it used to be Wednesdays at 1 was our thing. January 8th is a Tuesday. We're switching to Tuesdays at 2 o'clock Pacific time. So please, put that down on your calendars. Especially those of you who've been here every single week. Yeah, we had to move some things around in our schedule, but we really want to have you back. So we'll see you again in a couple of weeks at 2 o'clock Pacific time, January 8th. And I believe our guest is going to be Andy Collins. He's going to be our Dev of the Month. He's going to be coming in here to talk to us about his work as the lead writer of the game. So be looking forward to that.
Do we have a block rocker?
I don't think I've got one. No.
Okay.
I don't think we have time to get one. We got to shut this thing down. We're 8 minutes over.
Oh man.
I know it would have been a great way to end, right? But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Just for the new year and all that. Oh.
Okay. Well.
Oh man.
It would take so much time. Do you want to do it?
I do.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right.
Do it as fast as you can.
All right.
Okay, guys, we're going to be on for just a little bit longer because we want to make some things explode to ring in the new year. So technically, the Independence Pack is about Independence Day, but you know we'll go with New Year's Day. That'll be fine. It's the same celebration basically. Either New Year's Day or around here, anytime the Seahawks win.
Right.
It's like I feel bad for my wife sometimes because so we cut our cable and so we can't watch sports live. It's like we watch them on. We find some ways to stream it, but it's always just a little bit behind. And so whenever my wife watches Seahawks games, religiously, and whenever it gets to the end of a Seahawks game and it's so close, it's down to the wire, who's gonna win? She'll hear some fireworks go off in the neighborhood, and she'll be like, "Oh, okay, the Seahawks won," and I don't have to watch the end of this game.
Right.
Darn, I wasn't gonna enjoy watching the end of this nail biter game.
43-16 or whatever.
Yeah, okay. So some,
Not
not
this
all
week,
of them are
but-
nail biters. Not all of them are nail biters.
All right, there we
but-
go. We got a block rocker now. Okay,
Cool.
that should be good.
All right,
All
let's
right.
set this off.
Should we get back to the church first?
Do whatever you like. You are in control right now, Joe.
Well, I don't know about that. I just want to make sure we send people off with the best that we can.
Yeah, no. My only worry is I have no idea if Megan has another meeting to get to because she's not in here to tell us.
Oh yeah.
And so I just want to make sure we're not like stealing a bunch of people's time.
Hurry.
We're so close. Oh yeah.
All right, right here by the church, and then
Church parking lots. That's where you're supposed to set off fireworks anyway, right?
right there you go. And then we're gonna go
That was the
down
last
hill.
one. You ready? Happy New Year, everybody! Or whatever. It's gonna be New Year's soon, right? So we will see you all in January. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah, Joe Swarner, Jeffrey Card. Bother us on Discord. Bother us on Twitter. Do whatever you want to do, and just have a really good 2016. And we will see you all later.